Hey everybody, it's Marty the JavaScript Party, my buddy Rhett. I just watched my last video and I realized that at the very beginning I kind of go on this little rant about like how as you get older, everyone says that life goes by a lot faster, but for me, I found that it doesn't, and not in a bad way. Like for me, not in a bad way, it seems like life goes by very slowly. Like I'm enjoying every aspect of life and it's just slowly grinding forward and it's just every day's a fun day. I really enjoy it. Um, and I think that that whole idea where you're like, oh man, it feels like just yesterday we were doing this and we were just doing that. I think that is sort of an indicator that you may have stagnated, that you're sort of just not really growing anymore. But just for me, it just seems um, like feels like a year ago when the last time I got to bring Rhett in here and do one of these shows. All right, so now I'm going to work on something else. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I believe it's my Say Hello project, but I'm not sure. One thing I've been thinking about a lot is um like I think that like management at most programming jobs today, I think they're very, very aware that it's extraordinarily difficult on developers particularly, but I think every role, but especially developers, this context switching. It's very, very difficult to change contexts and all that, but like it's just sort of a reality. It's like it would be nice if we don't have to do context switching, but just reality is just it just doesn't work anymore. Um, at least in any roles that I've seen in the last, I want to say 15, 20 years. Um, you just can't spend a whole day focused on one singular task. You have to, or even one singular application. You have to be able to change contexts on a dime, and it's not ideal. There, there's nobody like advocating for the concept of, oh, let's be context changers. It's just sort of a harsh reality of life. So I've been a bit like trying to capture my process of for context switching in these videos lately. And so I don't know what my new context is. I believe it's the say hello, but before I leave this, I need to do certain things. And one thing I need to do is I need to shut down the unit tests. So hit Control C, and looks like we're good there. And then I'm going to go over into the actual. Oh, interesting. We got some sort of error. Looks like we're good though. And I'm going to close this little report down. And then I'm going to. Oh, and by the way, I just noticed a second ago that my video from February 5th, which was a Three.js video, which was 3 days ago, 2 days ago, so Thursday, got 3 likes. Now, one of the likes is me. Like, that's how I know that I've watched it. I try to make sure I watch all my videos. And the way I can tell that I watched it is by liking. Now, there's been a few times where individuals who I believe are still watching, but they would like make a special effort to like the videos, which I do appreciate it. There's no question about that. I do appreciate the fact that someone likes it. Um, and I guess at some point, if at some point people will probably start liking. And did I not? It looks like I didn't put a description in the video I just uploaded. Let me do that real quick. Okay, I didn't. In this video, here, I'll just go ahead and do that on the screen. In this video, I continue unit testing. Let's go ahead and put a smiley on there. All right. I guess, I don't know, for some reason. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so I did that whole thing so that so that I wouldn't be rude and I wouldn't be working off screen, but I put it on my screen where my recorder is showing, not on the screen where you guys can see. Okay, so let's save those changes. But yeah, I did have a video that had 3 likes, and that was awesome. Um, so, ooh, I got a Red Bull. Thank you, baby. You're the best. Best of the best of the best. She got me the big orange one too. This is my second favorite kind. I like this a lot though. I also like the yellow ones. The yellow ones I like a lot. I think they're supposed to be what is it called? Um, grapefruit flavored. But it is 3:30 though, so it is a bit late to be drinking a Red Bull. I usually only drink them on Saturdays. So anyways, I'm gonna close this one down, and then let me go ahead and hit refresh, y'all. Just make sure we are in fact closed down. Sometimes I don't know what it is. It's every once in a while they'll roll out a version of Visual Studio that like doesn't automatically close and as you move from one project to another. So typically you can just go like file and then you can go to a different thing and it'll completely shut down your servers and or your local port, your local server and all that. But it looks like oh no, yeah, Say Hello is the one I'm working on. All right, so let's talk about Say Hello. Let's try to come up to speed real quick. It's been a whole week since I worked on it, but and I will say that I use this every single day at work now, this voice analyzer. And I've noticed that like a lot of people like when you go to Teams for some strange reason, sometimes it just won't acknowledge your microphone. But for some reason, if I come here and I come and I do this, I'll it will recognize. But this I can use. Let me look, see if there's anything new that came. Nope, just this one phrases attribute has been added. But anyways, this is basically what we want to do in this project. We want to say we want to be able to do this. We want to be able to, well, I want to know what the word hello for a given language is. So this is English. Hello. So as you see, this is English US hello, and then it found it that there was in fact a match for the word hello. So if this was Spanish, for example, like Mexican Spanish, I think hola is the same for both. Hola, and see, it would have sorted as it would look to see if it found the word hola in there. And basically, I want to try that and basically give like a little green thumbs up type of thing if you say a word that I recognize. Um, if you say the word as you recognize. Now, last week I think I went into a big sort of diversion where I was talking about like Russian, and one of the things that I did realize from working on this project is that when you have some water instead, that when you do Russian, I mean the formal hello in Russian is extraordinarily difficult for Americans and I think a lot of other languages speakers because it has a sound that we don't speak in English. It just doesn't exist in English. So we don't know how to do that. Now, I guess maybe that would be a fun thing. It's just what is that sound and then just practice that sound. And there's probably a simple word that literally just has that sound that we could just practice. Um, let's see. I'm sorry to do this to you guys, but um, let's see. ChatGPT. Okay. Okay. So saying hello. formal hello in Russian is hard for English. Ooh, how can I help? Marty? Question mark. So I wonder if the question is how can I help, or if it's are you Marty? I don't know. That's weird. I don't think I ever. This is the first time I ever noticed that it has my name on there. Uh, I feel like that's kind of their way of saying we're spying on you, which like I definitely understood that, like, but I don't think everyone does. But it's just like obviously it knows who I am, even though I don't think I've ever like I don't. Oh no, I'm Marty the Party. I'm logged in as Marty the Party. Um, hard for English speakers. There's, there's because of I think because of a specific sound. Oh yes, talk about the Russia. It has the ZDR. We don't do this. Almost like ZD with an R swirl. So is there so phonetically okay, Zrastrovsky Veste. So okay, so is there a simpler word with the ZDR? Simpler word that would be good for practicing the ZDR. Meaning roughly health or healthy. Oh, okay, so this Zera. So now let's go into Google and search for that word. And then let's see if it lets me. Healthy sound, hail. Hail. That was weird. Was physical or mental state. Okay, so wow, it's now available in 110 new languages. Okay, so now let's see what that sounds like.
Zdrav. Zdrav.
Let me turn up my volume on my
Zdrav.
Zdrav. Okay, so Zdrav. That is easier. All right, Zdrav. So now, what I've been doing, I think I have to unplug my speaker. And we go over here. We'll change this to Russian. And I guess it's Serbian, not Russian, which is weird. I don't know exactly what the deal is with that. So I'm going to change this to Russian, or to Russian, and then I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to hit the play. Apparently I have my speakers turned all the way down. Don't know why. I don't. It happens all the time.
Zdrav.
Okay.
Zdrav. Zdrav.
Doesn't seem like it's working. Hello? 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 That's weird. So now this... See, it was working last week, right? Did I do something different? Maybe I wonder if my microphone... No, my microphone is on. Yeah, I could tell
Let's try.
Zarav, hello. All right, so hello. Zarav, Zarav. Yeah, for some reason it can't see that. Zarav, Zarav. Yeah, it's not. That's interesting that it has these other things. I don't know why it's just like ignoring it, right? Zarav,
Zdrav.
Zarav.
Zdrav.
There we go. All right, so that time it worked. Sidrov. That is weird. That is so strange. Let's try this. Sidorov. 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 See, it's just like ignoring it. Hello. All right, let's try this in. And see this, okay, one of the best parts of having this
Um, like we can actually like it would be very, very difficult to figure out, is this a bug or is this a um or is this like a like I can use this tool to check to see how it works without, like do I have a code if I created a code or a bug in code, or is this like just a broken thing? Zarav, Zarav, Zarav. Hello. That is crazy. Zarav. Oh, look, I did it. Now, as you see, like it works a little differently in Edge, right? Because Edge put a little period at the end, and it only has a count of one. Um, let's try this again. Zarav, Zarav. Yeah, so I don't know why it's not working in Chrome at all, but it is in fact working in Edge. Um, so there's that, which is a little disappointed. I guess. Guess that's what keeps us in business. All right, so we apparently we need to install Angular material in this. Man, I went on a real like bender on this yesterday because man, I don't know. I don't know what Angular material, like it's weird. It's like there I guess there's an Angular material 3, and if you don't use the right one, if you don't use the right, like if you don't use pink indigo, it's not necessarily all filled out. It's some of the they're for material 3, and material 3 I don't quite think that it's really um, appropriate for just 99% of all development. It's just like you it's really, I think, made for enterprises that develop all their own software and want them to look consistent for some reason. That's it. That's the only thing it's for that. And well, or not want them, demand them to look the same. Um, if you were in that situation where it's like the thing we want to optimize for is that all of our applications look exactly the same everywhere, then Material 3 is like probably the right answer for you. But that's it. That's it. So most big enterprises that would care about things like that actually buy all their software. They don't really write a lot of their own, and they'll buy like Salesforce.com and other ERPs and stuff like that, Oracle and things like that. They're not building a bunch of custom software. And then so they just need to make them look, it's up to everybody just to make their version look the same way. Or if you build all your own stuff, a lot of it's just for internal use and you don't really give a crap what it looks like. And then, yeah, so I don't know. And then if you're just only maintaining one or two or three websites, it probably doesn't make any sense either. It's a very niche thing. And anyway, so let's go ahead. It looks like we are installing material. Let's just make sure we didn't actually. So we have no changes in this one. So I don't know. So the thing I'm thinking through, right, like on a larger level is like, okay, how did I just context switch? How did we switch from being knee deep into mocking components, 3JS, DOM elements and things like that, to knee deep into, oh, I'm installing Angular material. Like that is really neat. So I know that this one, I I've started to kind of build out my projects to where they're like different projects inside of here. So say hello y and then npm install. Is it add Angular material? Angular, I don't remember. So if you go to Angular, if you go to Google and you type in Angular material, it will give you a link. And you see that 99 times out of 10, I go straight to this components because you can tell because it's green. But I think what I want is guides. Getting started. Okay, so it's at Angular/material. And we were close. We were so close. And then if we look at this, let's go ahead and start it. Say hello UI, npm start. Oh my gosh. Start. Let's see. I'll tell you, man, it is just so hard to trust any like institutional sort of things right now. We're just in that phase. There's this great book called The Fourth Turning where they talk about like it's kind of weird because I think anytime you ever read it, you think they're talking about right now, but it was written in like 1984. And he talks about like institutional trust and things like that. And we're just happen to be in a phase where like institutions are just insanely untrustworthy at this point. It's really hard. Like, so when I was in the Navy, they would always say locks are there to keep honest people honest. That's why locks are there. And they would tell you, you need to lock your stuff up because you don't want to like put your shipmates into a situation where they will there we go where they might do something that they'll regret and it might turn them into a bad person, so you should lock your stuff up. Okay, so this should look different when we're done. And I say Red Bull is one organization that at this point, one of the few institutions that at this point I think I have a lot of trust for them, that they're not making just horrible products that are really, really bad for you. But anyways, Angular material. We are signing in. It's kind of funny though, because I feel like the kids that are really young today, that are like 15 to 20, maybe 25 in the United States. I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world, but in the United States, I think they are just like I remember when I was a little kid, like people who were like over 50, like they didn't trust anything. It was just crazy. They're like, dude, what is your problem? You're being weird because they didn't trust anything. And I'm thinking that's what the kids today are going to be like in the future. Like they're just not going to trust anything. All right, so we might need to restart. Let's see. It was weird because like I installed Angular Material on another project that I'm working on, and like it just didn't take. Oh, that was weird because I, it should have asked me a bunch of questions and stuff. Okay, what did I do wrong? Okay, yeah, I didn't want to do that. See, oh, that is different. See, I don't think you want to, this is not how you want to do it. That was weird. I did that, right? Oh, darn it. Okay, and I think I did this yesterday. Okay, this was a mistake. We don't want to do it this way. We wanted to do it um, this ng add, not npm install. Okay, so let's go ahead, and this is why it's nice to have to do these sorts of things in a new branch, because it is very simple to get rid of this. We'll just say discard all changes. And then we want to do npm, we want to do ng add. Oh, that's right. And I always put that in the package. I needed to make sure I wasn't in this package, but I was in this package here. Okay. Comma, install material. ng add at angular dash material. And the thing is what this will do, I feel like in this specific situation, the way I'm doing it inside of here, this is how I always do it, but the way I'm doing it inside of here is very, 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 very superior to doing what they just said, which was to just put this in your command line, because this will ensure that I'm using the right, that I'm installing all the right stuff for this package. So npm run install material. Now I would love to drink a Red Bull every morning, but I don't know. I don't know that it's bad for you or anything. I just don't like it. Okay, so I tried using Azure Blue. See, this sucks. And it just did not work the way I wanted it to work. And see, these are the only choices they give you. Yeah, see, yesterday when I was trying to do this, I ended up having to go to pink because like I put like a little header across the top and it didn't have any background color. Um, and it's because they want me to set up theming, and I don't want to set up theming. I just want to use an existing theme. So I think I'm going to do that. Then I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go into my angular.json and change up it to use Indigo. Indigo. So I think it's done. So you notice this is weird. Okay, so styles. Yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so I do think this looks different. I think these were serifed. So I think they had little uh I've never heard this before my current job, but there's some people who call them little shoes. I see shoes all over the place. This is sans serif, so but you see this is that, and I think there's like a spacing situation that they took care of with this margin 0 and height. I wonder what happens if I change this to dark. I've never tried this before. Dark. Oh, look at that. That was neat. I think I'm going to go with light for now, anyways. That was pretty cool, though. Okay, I want to try it again. Control Z, Control Shift Z, save. That is freaking cool. All right. So we know that now. That's a new thing I just learned. So it looks like that's that for now. I don't know. I might end up changing. I don't know, even though. See, in my other application that I was working on yesterday, it actually updated my Angular.json. And it changed. Yeah, it changed this and it brought in from node modules at Angular, not CLI. Could have sworn there was an at Angular. Like a material. I could have sworn it was inside of one called at Angular. And then let's see. Okay, let's go back. So at Angular material is what it should have brought in. So let's scroll back up here. And see, I see at Angular CLI. Am I looking at? Oh, I'm looking at the node modules of the overall project, not for this Angular project. At Angular. So yeah, this is what we had yesterday. And then I'm going to sneeze. Sorry about that. Material. And then it made me, I ended up having to change it because it was pulling in it's so weird that I don't have to do that today. But I thought it was in here. Letters next. Time picker tooltip. Oh, pre-built themes. And then I tried pulling this one and it didn't really do anything. And then I ended up pulling this indigo pink in. And if you remember correctly too, it actually asked me, do you want to use this one? And I was like, yeah. I mean, it only gave me 4 choices. It didn't give me all those other older choices. But I don't even see where. Blue. Oh, see, it says use at Angular matte material. as mat. And then that's where it gets these variables from. So I'm guessing it's this use brings it in. So yeah, I wonder if that was missing in my other project. Anyways, okay, so I think we're good on this. So let's go ahead and commit this and push it. Push it real good. Do, 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 do. You like that song, Brett? No. Now this will a lot of times on like very sensitive projects, they'll usually not like this idea at all. Really, any of these ideas, they want to have these locally, which is a pain in the butt to do, but it isn't. It's not particularly difficult. All right, so I'm gonna add all these. Are they? Did I stage them already? It's weird. It's like I feel like I'm supposed to have like a. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Let's see, I'm gonna say get status and see what it tells. So yeah, these are all modified, but they're not staged. And it's not. Usually, I can use this to stage. Okay, stage all. So what I typically like to do is I won't look at the lock because it's waste. I mean that lock thing is important. And it's an important thing to kind of understand and all that. Um, I've definitely worked in places where people have checked in their lock and it broke the application um, because some minor version was modified. Because this right here, right on here, the way these are um, indicate like how what it like it's not necessarily going to install 21.0.1. This will probably install like 21.0 like a different version, but like a minor change or whatever. It's based on this thing here, and sometimes there's every once in a while a minor version will come out that breaks something, and when you have tens of thousands of libraries that get installed every once in a while, even if it's incredibly rare, it's going to happen, because there's just so many. But anyways, so this is video 9, I think. Let's see if we can find last week's commit, issue 21. Oh, see, this is where I did that too. Oh no, that's on one of my other projects that I work on. Video 9. So I think we are on. Let's see, say hello. I have a directory that I keep like the last video that I sent. Actually, it looks like, oh yeah, last week I had to do in 2 pieces. So yeah, so this is video 10. And this is in fact a super. And this is a super, and it's issue 12. And it installs material. And that's that. With enter, we have it staged. Hit enter. We say git push. So I don't think that, like, I know for a fact that 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that, it would have like that context switch that we just did would have actually caused issues, would have caused like stress and stuff in my life. Um, and somehow I've learned how to grow beyond that, and I don't know exactly how, but I do think if you do in fact want to make a living computer programming computers, which honestly, like programming computers, very much like solving Rubik's cubes and things like that. So it's crazy to me, like it's crazy to me that I can make a living programming computers. Um, it's wonderful. But if you want to make a living programming computers, you're going to have to um, figure out how to context switch. It's just probably because even like I had another job, my previous job, uh, previous programming job, because I did work as a Pizza Hut delivery driver for a little bit. No fun at all. Man, that used to be a fun job in the 80s and 90s. Um, but the um, even at that job, even though we only worked on one application, there were so many different visualizations in that application that like it was not the same. All right, so I'm just going to take this moment here just to look at the code changes. Normally, if you're looking at somebody else's pull request, you you can't really look at it at this point because you're not creating the pull request. This would be the point. You could do it. Like it gets assigned to you and you can look at all the code changes. And so now you go back to conversations. It's kind of weird. It's telling me I don't have any conflicts. So I'm going to hit commit. I'll confirm the merge. I'm going to delete my branch. All right. Now we are official. Now, do I have any? It doesn't look like I have any other issues. Um, so I think we can code now. Um, I can't even remember what the layout of this thing's supposed to be. I think, oh, okay. So yeah, the way, okay, so looks like we want to set up the routing, I think would be the next. So basically what I want to be able to do is come over here and type in en-us, and then it would know what the read the language and region combination is based on the URL. So basically in here, in the UI, I'm just going to say, oh, this is for English and US. And that's it. Um, and then, but this is going to be tricky because this is going to require some extra stuff so that it can work remotely. So it can work on at DreamHost and on the GitHub live sites. So so that is part of it. Just to make sure they work on. We already have the builds, and we can always we already have the site to FTP2, and we have the all the everything we need to be able to push to GitHub pages. But and I think we are finally to the point where this has completely diverged from my flashcards project because flashcards is not going to be like there's not going to be more than one um, language. It's just going to be English, um, at least for now. I mean, it'll be easy enough to add the ability to change those, but that won't be routing. It won't be controlled by routing. Set up routing. Uh, like this. Set up routing. There we go. And then in here, I guess we'll add it. So routing like this. Now this will probably take a little bit more time than where en is the language and US is the region. I believe it's called a region. Let's see. No, it's not called a region. It's called a locale. There we go. So basically, the UI list them as values. Make sure that it works. I would, if I wasn't writing this to myself, I would be a little bit more careful. Sometimes that phrase "make sure" can, some people react negatively to that. So probably more like please ensure that it works on works at I like email and GitHub NGH. Now I'm wondering, like, is this too broad? This might be too broad, because we want to set up the routing, but then we also are going to want to set up like a service that is listening for routes, and probably set up a signal. I know that I was watching like a video the other day, and they were like, don't use signals unless it's absolutely like the only option. Which, like that was on the Angular live stream from 2 Fridays ago. But I do like the signals a lot. Now signals are like, I don't think it's a particularly scalable solution, because like they have a thing called an effect, and the effect runs if any signal that you're listening to, and I don't know if listening is the right word, but if you're subscribed, I don't even know if subscribed is the right word, but if you're reacting to a signal, you have a function called an effect function, and everything in that effect function executes if any signal runs, which is a little like weird, tricky. But anyways, so let's do this. I have my issue. I guess it's open. It's assigned to me. Oh yeah, I want to create a branch. And I want to check it out locally. So then I'll hit this little copy to clipboard. Typically with this one, not always, but usually I can just hit Control V here. Hit enter. And then what do we got going? So that's good, right? Set up routing from origin. Okay, so that's what we'll be working on next week. So basically, I'm going to want to be able to type in any 2-letter combination and 2-letter combination here, or really any combination. And the first one will be the language, and the second one will be the locale. And there'll be a service that's probably listening to the thing. It'll be a singleton service, not a potato. If you watched my last video, I decided to start calling classes that aren't singletons, that aren't ejectable, just plain old TypeScript atomic type objects, a potato. So I'm going to create like an actual singleton with a service, and that will listen for routing changes, and then it will announce a change. It'll probably have 2 signals actually, one that announces what the new language is, and one that announces what the locale is. Anyways, that is that. I thought that was good. Have a great day. Happy coding. Bye.